Hi, a lot of you on the internet know me. I'm not a person who is part of the throwaway society. You know, my house has had 1 or 200 previous occupants, so I don't like to chuck stuff away or have it demolished just because it's a bit old. One of my cars here is from 1970. So it's currently being repaired by me. Long progressive job to be done. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about cars. I'm here to talk about TV and video recording equipment. So yeah, excuse all the guns and stuff and sleeping, well, not sleeping cats, but anyway, leave sleeping cats to lie. Right, better turn this sound off or YouTube or Google will complain about copyright, so turn him off. Right, video recording equipment. Like, I'm a person I remember video recording equipment back in the 1980s, and you just stuck a big bulky plastic VHS tape in your machine and you pushed record, and 90% of the time it did record what you wanted, and you could watch a different channel. And everything can, you know, or you could go out, you could set it a VHS up and record something in a few days' time. Generally everything's okay. Then digital TV came along and you couldn't use VHS recorders anymore. Poor old days were gone. You couldn't keep all these old films and documentaries and stuff like this for years and save them on a shelf. You had to record everything digitally and store it for 1,000,000 years in the very recorder, and you can't take it out of that recorder and pass it to someone else because all the companies don't like you doing this because of copyright. They wanted to do away with the good old days of VHS where you could record something and keep it for forever and lend it to friends. They don't like that. So today we have digital, and basically when you record it, it's hammered inside on the hard drive. You cannot get it out of there. We're all waiting for someone to come along with a nice system where you can download or swap the files to a USB stick and then maybe put it in a PC and record it over to a DVD disc to keep it for future. But that's not happened yet. Maybe it has, no one's told me, and if I want to find out, I've got to read about 75,000 different websites and look at 65 million different YouTube videos to find out if it is actually happening yet. So when digital TV came out, what I did was I thought, you know, I don't trust any of this recording equipment. None of it is doing what I wanted. So in the end, what I did was I got my TV set and I got a DVD player underneath, and I thought, you know, I want a smart TV, but basically everything that's smart about video to go with TV sets, in my opinion, it was dumb. Smart equals dumb when it comes to TV, because it just doesn't do what you want. The only way to have a smart TV was to put a bloody PC under it. So I got that PC out of a skip, and I opened it up. Someone had taken the hard drive out, but it still had the processor and memory in it and a power supply. So I put a new hard drive in. It had the code for the Windows operating system, so I got a copy of Windows and reinstalled it and used the code, got it all up working just for the price of a hard drive. Right, now when it comes to digital boxes, I did decide that I would buy one, and going back a good few years now, a friend of mine recommended me to buy a Humax. Now, you can all tell this is a bloody old Humax, right? Don't know the model. It's got TUV on there, and to be honest with you, it's been brill. Look at all the sockets on the back of this Humax. No HDMI, because HDMI wasn't really around when I bought this. RS232C, 2 SCARTs, and then you've got the nice old audio and video out phono sockets, and you've got the coax antenna in and out. Yeah, and I've been using this, and actually it's still working now. Every now and then I have to turn it off and back on again because it freezes up. But the main reason I put down to that is because I've got so much recorded on it. I've probably got stuff recorded on here that's 10 years old, and like anything which is like computer type gear, the hard drives tend to get bound up. They need defragging, but because you can't copy anything out of this to back it up, it stays in here for a gazillion years, you see, because you can't get it out of it unless you rip the hard drive out, stick it into a computer and try and interrogate it to get the files out of it somehow, and put them into a computer and then put them onto a DVD. After recoding them for several hours, then, you know, the other way I used to do it was I would video capture out of this by playing it into a PC capture card and keep the video that way. And I've done a lot of that, but eventually after doing it for 5,000 hours, you get a little bit fed up with it. So recently I decided it's time to update this, because now people want to have, use the term again, smart TV, in terms of they want everything in one box. So they want something like this little unit, which I've just brought down here. Ignore the little Tevion DVD player I use once every so many months, but here I'm looking at this little Panasonic unit, and let's give you a model number. It's a Panasonic DMR HWT150 Freeview play unit. It's got a USB socket on the front there, and on the rear, I dared to turn it round, but on the rear it's got, let's have some light in this room. One moment. Right, on the rear of this, it's still going to be a bit dark down here. It's got your power, it's got one HDMI socket, then it's got the Ethernet socket, and then your aerial sockets. What else was it? Yeah, that essentially that's it on the back. Not like my old Humax with SCARTs all over it. Multiple ways of getting video out of it. As I say, I'm not part of the throwaway society. This is my Samsung TV. It's probably at least as old as the Humax box over there. and it actually only has one HDMI socket on it. Yeah, so basically one HDMI socket. So I was using that from my computer to plug into it, so now I have a dilemma, as that only has one single way of delivering a video picture to my TV through HDMI. So now I have to buy a HDMI switcher box, if that exists, so I can switch the different ones into my TV set, because I don't want to go updating my TV and throwing this one in the skip, because believe it or not, I'm quite happy with the TV. You know, I can watch my films from the 1960s. Speaking of which, I set this up this morning to record on ITV4 Hornblower, you know, the old series, you know. Anyway, I set that up this morning. It said it was going to start at 4 o'clock this afternoon, 1600 hours, and a few minutes before it was due to start, I looked, and ITV4 changed it from Hornblower to Her Majesty's Secret Service. So they just decided, I'll tell you what, we won't show that today, even though everyone might have set their recorders up to record it. We'll put a different program on. So that's TV companies for you. If I push source select on the TV and get this thing over to the HDMI port there, and then we turn this on by pushing the power on the Panasonic box. Right, it's now powered up, and it says, you know, it's playing, well, no, it's not playing the right program, it's playing something else, 5 spike. Let's go to 24. Yeah, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, if we go to, right, video menu, you can see there I set it up this morning, and it's supposed to be recording Hornblower, and it's still recording it even though that's not what it's recorded. Now you also notice that there's 2 recordings up to now of this. If I select on this and tab it up one, it's recorded one part of Hornblower for 2 minutes, and then it started again 16:44. Start time 16:44. Don't know why, that just seems to be a bit of rubbish. 16:44, it started earlier than that, I think. It was supposed to start at 2 minutes to 4. If we go down here, tab it down one, 16:49. Right, so the second recording for 33 minutes. So, as I say, this is the latest gadget. Now, if I come out of, as I say, I set it up to record Hornblower and recorded something else. Now, if I come out of that digital menu, great thing about this unit is you can look at Freeview, Play, Netflix and Net button on there. You've got a number of options. So if we push Freeview Play, I think it is, and point it at the unit, you get all your online digital stuff. You get BBC iPlayer, ITV, Channel 4, Demand 5 and more, UK TV Play. Yeah, problem is this unit, this Panasonic, is faulty out of the box. I admit it is a reconditioned unit bought on eBay from the Panasonic reconditioning supplier. So it's manufacturer reconditioned and then sold out on eBay. And what happens is, spasmodically, every now and then, randomly, the power just seems to shut itself down and then it comes back on again. And that's the reason why, when I showed you Hornblower a few minutes ago, there are two sets of recordings. It's because it turns itself off. If you've got the thing powered up and you're watching something like online content, BBC iPlayer, it shuts itself off every now and then, goes to black screen. I could sit here, but it's a completely random thing. If I go back to a normal TV channel, I have to point it down there to do this. Go back to a normal TV channel. Here's the guide that comes up. It's not a bad guide. The text is a little bit small, so when you're sat about 15 feet away, it's not very easy to read it. And then you've got all these features down here: schedule, jump, catch up, and all this business. But you can just push. It's like one touch timer recording, so you can set it up as I say. They changed their mind and they put on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but the unit thinks it's recording Hornblower because the TV channel changed its mind, ITV4. So strange, but there you go. Decided they'll show you one thing in the morning, and then when it got to the afternoon they put something else on. Now, as I say, so what happens here is, if I set this, let's go, I'm not going to watch Happy Feet now, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, let's put it to something decent. Never watch channels 1 through to 1 to 3 at least, channel 4 occasionally. Let's go to Quest. Wheeler Dealers, always good program. Good stuff on Quest. Quest and Blaze Forged in Fire and stuff like that. Watch now, yeah, watch now. Come on, let's watch it. Oh right, point it down there, not at the telly. That's not what I asked for, is it? It's a little slow to come up. Oh, it's gone to QVC. Quest, there we go, Quest. Wheeler Dealers, okay. Watch. Right. Yeah, so we all know Ed China. Good car repair guy. Right, so what happens is, after a time, the little green light starts to blink out and it turns off for about 4 or 5 seconds, and then it comes back on again. But of course it's probably going to prove me a liar now, and it's not going to do it when I've got the video camera pointing at it, but it does do it, and it's quite annoying. Let's see, I might have to pause the camera for a moment while I wait for it to do it. Just if you look down there, say the control's not in my hand, it's down here, and the thing's just turned off, and then it's come back on again. See, it's gone back to green, and then the pictures come back. Let's turn the sound off. Yeah, I have a feeling it might be about to do it again, because the lights are flashing down at the bottom there. I reckon once it starts doing this, it's going to do it again fairly soon. Yeah, so basically every time it turns itself off and then comes back on, that's when it puts an interruption in the recording of any program that you're watching. So basically you can't have this unit turned on and be watching something when you're recording, because it will keep turning itself on and off repeatedly. So you can't watch the internet while you're recording a program. If I now go to video menu, you'll see there's now an extra recording popped into the scheduling. So when I come to try and watch this back, Her Majesty's Secret Service, that's named as Hornblower, it's going to play it back with little gaps missing, and I have to keep going back to the menu to select the next section of the film. So let's see how many minutes I got on that last recording. Right, see, it's recording again now. Started at 17:33 and it's got 0 minutes up to now, but that's going to clock up in a moment, probably to 1 minute. While we're waiting for that, let's go to the one before. Right, see, I had the unit turned off for 41 minutes, so it was performing okay while it's turned off. While it's shut down, so to speak, the recorder works. But as soon as you start to turn it back on, it starts to fail. Come on, click 1 minute. Watched pot never boils, as the saying says. Oh, look at this. It's turning itself off again. Not me doing it. There's the remote in my hand. But it's shutting itself down. There's the remote down there. Not doing it with my feet. And it's a little green light down there. And it's going to come back. Yeah, the picture's come back again. It shuts itself down. Once it starts doing it, it does it over and over and over. Whatever you're recording on another channel gets completely corrupted. So if I now put this back to a video menu and wait, there's now 4 separate recordings of Hornblower, or as it should be called on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah, you get the idea. So basically there is a fault with this thing. It seems to be in the power. Lots of digital recorder boxes seem to be useless these days. It's a shame, but that's the way it is. Old VHS recorders had their problems. Tapes used to spool out in the things and you had to stick them. Oh, it's going off again. Look at that. There's the remote stuck down there. It's not me doing it. So that's while I'm looking at the menus. I'm going to push that forward and it's going to come back on any moment now. Green, there we go, pictures back again. So that'll now be was it 5 or 6 separate recordings now of Hornblower, or also known as Her Majesty's Secret Service. So yeah, see, as I leave it, it starts to do this more rapidly. So it's like there's it's probably like there's a component failure in it, maybe in the power supply, rather than being a software glitch, it could be a component getting warm and turning itself on and off. Basically bad quality control. Incidentally, I hope you like my 50 caliber machine gun and my Browning BAR. Quite pleased with how they worked out. I built both of them. But anyway, yeah, back to the TV. Say if we keep watching, any moment now it'll probably go off again. We could try. I could look at the video menu again, and see what it says on the screen. Right, how many recordings? Right, 4 of them. Every time it stops, turns itself off and then comes back on, it starts recording again, because it knows it's got to do its duty. The recording is in the timer, but the power supply keeps shutting itself down periodically. So there we go. So we got 1 minute on that current recording there, and the one I was looking at before, we should get an idea how long it was before it turned itself off. 1 minute again. So let's put the remote down there, anytime now it's probably going to shut itself down again. I'm doing this so basically I can make a little video and I can direct Panasonic to look at this so that they know what the fault is. I'm suspecting that they may have sent this unit out several times after doing extensive testing for at least 20 seconds back in their lab, and deciding there was nothing wrong with it, and the people who sent it back don't know what they're talking about. So no, that's okay. That's right. Yeah, it chops it up into recordings which are a minute or 2 in length. Right, let's get back to. Let's come out of that menu there. Yeah, go back to Ed China and Wheeler Dealers. Oh, look at that. It's turned itself off again. While I just push the button to take it out of the menu and back to Freeview channel to Quest, it's shut itself down and then started up again. So there's another interruption in the recording that it was doing, because it basically can't cope with doing more than one thing at the same time. It's not a multitasking unit. It's supposed to be able to record 2 channels at the same time. Now I haven't tested that feature. It may well work, but as long as you're not watching something as well through the unit, seems to be the issue. When it's actually displaying a picture, it's as though the power supply oh, that's just gone again. It just turned off again, and any moment now that little green light will see it's flashing on and off. It's going to come back on and the picture will fire up, and there we are, it's back again. So Panasonic, can you try and send me one which works so that I don't have to make more videos like this? Thank you.